Who am I in reality? For 5 decades, 50 years, somebody asked me, who are you? And I would say, hi, I'm Ravi. I was always Ravi. I never realized I was not Ravi. My passport says Ravi. My ID card says Ravi. But I realized I was not Ravi. My name was Ravi. When I was born, was I Ravi? No. I was a baby boy. If I was a baby girl, I might have become Rita, not Ravi. But just because I was a boy, they called me Ravi. It's a name. But who am I in reality? This is the question which we must ask. Because we live with ignorance. For years together, from birth to death, we live in ignorance. We live and we die. And we don't know the answer to the question, who am I? Who am I in reality? Oh, you don't know? Me? I'm an American. Oh, that's your nationality. Oh, I'm a Christian. That's your religion. Oh, I'm Mr. Smith. That's your surname. Oh, I'm father of Joan and Roger. Those are your relationships. Who are you? You? Oh, me. I'm a male. That's your gender. Who are you? We relate ourselves to be this body. That's why when we see a group photograph, even a photograph that may be 30 years, 40 years old, our school, our college, we look, oh, that's me. Can you see the one on the third, standing on the third from the right-hand side? We relate ourselves to be this body. But this body is constantly changing. When I was born, I was a tiny baby. Then I grew up. One day, I will be old. And this body will die. And people will say, I passed away. Oh, but the one who is dead is on the bed. That's not the one who was alive. The one who was alive has gone. Where? Who? What? Nobody knows. Therefore, this question, who am I, is the most important question of life. The most important question of life, because 99% of the people in this world don't know the answer, who am I? Let's try to analyze. Am I this body? Oh, this body. Where did this body come from? This body was formed over 9 months in the womb of my mother. I was actually born, not on my birthday. My birthday is fake, and I will keep on cutting a cake till I awake. I was born 9 months before. When 2 cells fertilized to become 1, I was born. I was conceived. If those 2 cells had not fertilized to become 1, would I ever be born? Never. When was I actually born? When those 2 cells became 1, that was the zygote. Then 1 cell became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 8, 8 became 16, till they became 25 billion cells. When it became a mass of 25 billion cells, I was delivered on earth. That was my arrival day, not my birthday. My birth certificate is fake. That I realized when I realized, who am I? I was born 9 months before. I was not born on the day I arrived. And if I didn't make it through the 9 months, I would be stillborn. I would be dead, even without coming into this world. But we don't realize. We know for sure. We learn it in school. We see pictures and scans and charts, and we see the body being formed in the womb of our mother over 9 months as the embryo, and then it's delivered. But we don't realize. We don't realize that we were born 9 months before as 1 cell. Then this body comes to earth and we eat pasta and pizza and dosa and burgers and noodles, and we become big. We reach to being over 30 trillion cells. So who am I? Am I the baby that was born? Am I the boy that went to school? Am I the one who went to college? Am I the one who did business? Or the old man who will one day die? But when I die, people know I'm not this body. That's why my own loved ones, they will burn my body. They will cremate the body or even bury it. Because they are sure I am not the body. I was in the body, no doubt. But they say, he expired. He departed. He passed away. Let us pray for the departed soul. If I was the body, would anybody dare to burn me? Imagine I was sleeping, I was not dead, and I was in bed, and I was alive. I wake up in the morning, people burning my body. Oh no, it's murder. People cremate or burn the body only when I have left the body. The question, who has left the body? When I realize I am not the body was formed over 9 months, and one day I will leave the body and I will go. So I am that spark of unique life, S-O-U-L, that spark of unique life that came alive at conception and that departs at death. But we don't realize this. Why? Why don't we realize we are not the body, we are the soul? Because the mind says, oh, it's me. The mind says it's me. You know me? M-E. M-E is the mind and the ego. The ego says I. You know I, me. I, me, mine, my house, my mother, my father, my car. This is mine. That's the ego. The ego comes alive with the mind. Where is the mind? You cannot find. Have you ever seen the mind? You can touch your nose, you can feel your ears, you can see with the eyes, you can walk with your feet. But have you ever seen the mind? Many people think it's the brain. No. The brain is the hardware. The mind is the software. What is the mind? It is nothing but the bundle of thoughts. When there are thoughts, the mind comes alive. When there are no thoughts, there is no mind. When we sleep, we still have dreams. The mind is alive when we dream. But when we have the deep sleep, dreamless sleep, we say, I slept like a log because there was no mind. But you try to find the mind. Where is the mind? You cannot find. The reality is I am not this body. The body will die. The body was formed from the 5 elements of nature. It will return into the 5 elements of nature. Earth, water, air, fire, and space. And I am not these 5 elements. I am that spark of life. To realize this, I have to transcend me, the mind and the ego. The mind makes me ignorant. It makes me believe the myth that I grew up with. It makes me believe I am Ravi. For 50 years, I thought I was Ravi. I used to sign as Ravi. But now I realize I am the Atma in Ravi. I am air. Because I am the soul. I am the immortal soul. The birthless, deathless soul that comes and goes. Because I don't realize I am the soul. Because I think I am Ravi. I think I am me. I create karma. And karma are actions, good and bad. When I create karma, these karma are not settled before I die. Therefore, there are unsettled karma, good and bad. And I have to settle these karma. Therefore, when the body dies, Ravi dies, I, the ignorant me, M-E, mind and ego me, carries my karma and I return to earth in a rebirth. If only I realized I am not the body that dies. If only I realized I am not the mind and ego me, then I would have no karma. Then I would not return to earth in a rebirth. But I don't realize who am I. Who am I in reality? The moment I realize I am not this, I am not this, I am that, 2 things happen. 1, I am liberated from all suffering on earth. I am liberated from pain of the body, misery of the mind, agony of the ego. The body will suffer pain, but I will not suffer pain. The body will experience pain, but I am not the body. I have a body, I am in the body, but I don't suffer the pain of the body. And then when I realize I am not the mind and ego, me, oh, the mind wanders. It becomes miserable. It creates fear, worry, stress, anxiety. But I'm not the mind. I still the mind. I kill the mind. I transcend the ego that makes me believe I am I. I realize I am not I. I am not I. I am not this body. I am not the mind and ego, me. I am that. I am that spark of unique life that came alive 9 months before my so-called birthday and that departs in that moment of death. Unfortunately, we are so lost in this world. I want money, I want fame, name, success, I want to be happy. That I dominates, but that I is a fake identity. It's a mistaken identity. As long as I do not realize I am not I will not realize who I am. Unless we realize we are nothing, we will not become the everything that we are. People wonder, where does that soul come from? That spark of unique life, where does it come from? That spark of unique life is energy. And even science tells you that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. We are the energy, the power of the Supreme, the power of SIP, the Supreme Immortal Power. The soul comes from the Supreme and it goes back to the Supreme. Imagine I take a balloon and I blow and the balloon becomes full of air. Where did the air come from? The air came from the air that is everywhere. Now I deflate the balloon. The air is gone. Can you bring me back the air of the balloon? No, how can I bring you back the air of the balloon? The air is merged with the air that is everywhere. So does the soul. The power of the soul is everywhere, is omnipresent. It is the power of the Creator, the power of the Divine. And it is this energy that merges with SIP, the Supreme Immortal Power. And this is not just some spiritual talk, even science endorses it. The latest Nobel Prize for Physics has been awarded to 3 scientists who are from the field of quantum physics and quantum mechanics. And they believe now in what is known as the wave-particle duality. A particle is nothing but a wave is nothing but a particle. The properties of a particle of matter and a wave of energy are no more different. When we realize this, we realize how the energy in us dissipates into the energy that is everywhere. As long as we are alive, the soul is inside us. But the moment the soul leaves, we are dead. The soul is the power of life. The soul is our real identity. We are not this body that will die. We are the soul that will fly into the sky. But if you want to realize who am I, you need to go on a quest. And to go on the quest, the first question to ask is not who am I. The first question to ask is who am I not? When we realize I am not this body, when we realize I am not the mind, when we realize I am not the ego, if I'm not the body, not the mind, not the ego, then who am I? I am that spark of life, that SOUL, spark of unique life, that came alive at the point of conception and then departed at death. My dear friends, it is the soul that creates all the organs of the body. The heart, the brain, the lungs, the liver, the stomach, the kidney, the intestines. Did your mother do it? Did your father do it? Or did some corporate create all your organs? No. Nobody needs to do anything. It is by default. It is spiritually automatic. It is important for us to realize that it is the power of the soul that creates this body. Because this body needs to come to settle our karma. Karma is a simple law. It's a law of the universe. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you plant mangoes, you can't get apples. That's why you never see apples on the mango tree. Some people wonder why good people have to suffer. Good people don't suffer. It is their karma, their past life karma. They don't even know it. They come back to redeem their karma. Karma is a universal law. If there was no karma, then there would be no birth and no death and no universe. Karma is a universal law created by the Creator to make this existence continue. But ultimately comes the question, who am I in reality? If I am not I, then I have no karma. It is only the ignorance that makes me believe when I do something, I create karma for me, the mind and ego, me. The body will die, but the mind and ego has to come back to settle karma. But when I know I am not the body, when I realize I am not me, not the mind and ego, it's an illusion, it doesn't exist, then there is no ignorance. Then I am free. I am free from the mind and ego, me, and I can be whom I'm meant to be. I can be the soul. This overcoming ignorance is called enlightenment. And if we are enlightened with the truth, I am not the body, mind, ego, I am the divine soul. If we are enlightened, this enlightenment leads to liberation. Liberation from all the suffering on earth and liberation from the cycle of death and rebirth. This liberation will lead to unification. In the moment of death, the body will disintegrate into the 5 elements. But me, I, the divine soul, is united with the divine. Who will come back to earth in a rebirth? Nobody. Because I realize I am not the me, the mind and ego that was ignorant and carrying karma, birth after birth after birth. I am not the mind and ego me. I have no karma. End of the story. At death, I am united, I am liberated, I become one with the divine. But in 99% and more of the cases, we are trapped in ignorance. We are trapped in this cosmic illusion. And then, when the body dies, we return to earth in a rebirth. Because we have not realized the truth. Who am I? What is the use of knowing everything about the planets and the world and the earth and the waters and the universe but you don't know who you are. If you don't know who you are and why you are here, you will just live and you will die. And then you will return. You will return in a new body because you have to settle karma. But if you know I am not this body, if you realize I am not the mind and ego, it's an illusion, it doesn't exist, then you're free from karma. Not just the karma of the present life, but your mind and ego may be carrying karma of many lives. You become free from all karma. You are liberated from all misery on earth and you're liberated from the cycle of rebirth. You become one with the divine. This is what is known as nirvana, moksha, salvation. This is our goal, the ultimate goal of a human being, to realize he is the divine soul, the spark of unique life. We are manifestations of SIP, the Supreme Immortal Power, the world calls God. We come from SIP, we go back to SIP. But if we get caught in ignorance, we will be born. And this will go on and on and on. And anybody who comes to earth suffers. The way to escape suffering is realization of the truth. Realization, I am not I. I am not I. I am not this. I am that. The spark of unique life. I am the soul. I am a part of SIP.